Hi and welcome to the video on using CAS for trigonometry. Hopefully you've seen the first video on just some of the basics of trig. In this one I just want to show you a couple of things about your CAS calculator because it's a little bit different from what you've probably used in the past. So the first thing that we need to do is actually change a setting on our calculator because our default setting will be in a different mode. Later on when you do Maths Plus you'll I guess see why I'm doing this, but at the moment just change it. So I'll show you that first. Go to your calculator. You can't quite see this screen all that well, but we'll give it a shot anyway. So you go to your calculator and click on the home screen, and then go into the settings, which is number 5, and then go into I believe it's document settings, number 2. And you can see the second, the first one should be on float, make sure that's there. The second one says radian, it says angled radian. We don't want radian for this topic, we actually want degree. So go down and change that to degree and make this one default. Later on in Maths Plus you'll do something a little bit different, but for this topic we want it to be in degree. So now go down to make default, and yes, I do want to do that. And now your calculator should be set up correctly, so that's good. Okay. That's the first thing I wanted to show you. The next thing I want to show you is that the idea of degrees, minutes and seconds. Now I'm not sure if you've come across this before. Now it's not too tricky, and I don't want you to think about minutes and seconds as in time, but rather think about it in terms of parts of a degree. So you've got meters, kilometers and centimeters. There's if I've got I know that there's 1,000 meters in a kilometer, and I know that there's 100 centimeters in a meter. So these are kind of parts of an angle. So degrees, then the smaller part is minutes, and then the smaller part than that is seconds. So we all there's an infinite number of degrees, but usually there's 360 degrees in a circle. But we often have a degree sign like this. We all know that. Then you can have a number of minutes. Now the number of minutes is out of 60, so there's like 60 minutes in a degree. So let's just say that there was 17 minutes. We would actually write it like this. Okay, a little kind of a little number 1. It's not a 1, it's just a dash, I guess, straight after the amount of minutes. And then inside of that, even so, this is like, imagine that this is like your kilometers, and this is like your meters, and then underneath that you can have centimeters. So the number of seconds inside a minute, there's also 60 seconds inside a minute as well. So this one we could say that there's 52 seconds, and the way we designate that is we've got like the 2 dashes. Now this one gets a little bit tricky when you're trying to round up things, because the magic number that we round up with is actually 30 now, not 50. 50 is for a decimal, or 50 is for other things, but for degrees, minutes and seconds, or minutes and seconds I should say, we round up when this number here is above 30, or this number here is above 30, depending on what we're trying to round up to. Hopefully that's made a little bit of sense. But these ones are out of 60, these ones are out of 60 as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is we can actually turn a decimal into something that has degrees, minutes and seconds, and vice versa as well. It can be quite helpful, particularly when people do things like navigation and that sort of thing. So again, we go to our calculator, and I'm actually going to do a calculation. So go into the calculator screen, and I'm actually going to do the inverse sign. And you probably need to know that the trig button is actually here on this calculator. If you've got one of the grey calculators, you can still find it. It's actually probably easier to find, but for these calculators, the trig button is there. And you can get all these ones here, sine, cos and tan, and the inverse sine, cos and tan. And then these other ones that you'll deal with another time. But I want to find the inverse sine. So I'm going to do that inverse sine of, say, 12 over 35. Okay, and I'm just going to push enter to see what I get. And you guys can't see that, but I'll move it over so you can. So that's my answer. Now obviously I've still got mine in exact, so I need to push control equals, and I'll get that. So 20 degrees, 20.05 degrees. Now this one is not in degrees, minutes and seconds. If I wanted to turn it to degrees, minutes, seconds, then I need to use this catalog little book thing here. There might be another shortcut, and if you can find it, that'd be great, but this is the only way that I know how to do this. So I'm actually going to go into this one here, and I'm going to find out, in the first one there, I'm going to, you can push D, and that'll take you to the first D's, I guess, and then you can go down and find DMS, degrees, minutes, seconds, and I'll push that one, I'll double click it, and it says answer, convert to DMS, and that's exactly what I want, so I push enter. Now again, it doesn't, this is not all that helpful because it's in exact mode, so I'm going to push Control equals, and I end up getting this here, so 20 degrees, 3 minutes, and 3.75 seconds. I am actually going to round that up to 20 degrees, 3 minutes, and 4 seconds. Okay, so that would be how to convert from a decimal to a degree. Now, if I want to do it the other way around, I think I can just push enter, and it will give me the fraction. So you can just go up to the degrees, minutes, seconds, push enter or Control enter, and it will convert it back into a decimal for you like that. So that's good. If you actually wanted to make the degrees, minutes, seconds, if the calculator says find out what sine of 20 degrees and 15 minutes is, then that's where you would push sine, so you get the trig button, which is just outside of this video, but you'll get this. So push sine, okay, and I think I said something like 20 degrees and 15 minutes, so I'll go 20 degrees, and I need to find the degree sign. It's you can't quite see this on the video, but it's the pi button. I don't know why it does this. The pi button just above the comma in the bottom left hand corner. If you push that button, it will come up with all these things here. Now I want to push the degree sign, and then I also want to push 15 minutes, so I push that pi sign again, and it comes up, and I want to push this thing here for minutes. Now incidentally, if I wanted to do seconds as well, I might even do this. I might go 12 seconds, so I push 12. If I want to get seconds, I think there is a shortcut to this, but the way that I do it is I push that pi button again, and then I find that symbol, and I actually push it twice. So I go down and I push it twice like that, and then I can just push enter, and it will give me that, and Control enter will give me that. Okay, so that's how to convert to degrees, minutes, and seconds, and also back to a decimal, and also to use the degrees, minutes, and seconds as well. And the only other thing I wanted to do for this video was to talk a little bit about the solve function. I actually won't go into a lot of it now, because I want to actually teach you a little bit more of this later on in the next class. So just use the calculator as you would a normal calculator. But you can use the solve function to find out the answers to questions and things, but it's a little bit trickier. I'll just show you what happens if you try and solve an equation. So you type solve menu 3.1 if you wanted to, and imagine you get something like this, what I've got in here. Oh, I'll just delete the second solve. So solve, sine x equals 12 over 15, and I want to find out what x is. Now you can do this, but I would not encourage you to do it now. I'll teach you how to do this next lesson. If I push enter at this point, it's actually going to give me a fairly horrible looking answer like that, and even if I push Control enter, it's still going to give me this answer here. And there is a good reason for this, and I'll show you this next lesson. But sometimes the solve function won't work as nicely as you want it to for trig. So I'll go through that next lesson, but at this point I guess I would just encourage you to use the calculator as you would normally use a calculator to find out the answers to all sorts of things. So if you actually wanted to find out the answer to that question, I guess you would just do the inverse sign, which is, so you'd push trig inverse sign of 12 divided by 15, and hopefully it gives you an answer. It changes to cos. Interesting. There you go, 53 degrees, or 53.13 degrees, and I could change it to degrees, minutes, seconds as well. Okay, so I prefer you to probably do this for this one, and then later on I can show you how to use the solve function for trig. So that's all for this video. Hopefully that has explained a few things. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Thanks.